Hey folks, I'm here to clean up the last of the junk I had here because I lived here for about a year in my van. It's been 20 minutes now. You hear the little plane? There's 3 of them. And between the 3 of them, there's been one within, probably an 1/8 of a mile around where I'm standing. This little area up here in Salmon Creek, near the power lines. Alright, I stayed here for a year. There's jetliners by thousands a day. And there's not thousands of jetliners, there's probably only 100. They just fly over 1,000 times a day. Get it? And then there's the little planes. You would have to believe that every private pilot in the Vancouver, Portland area has the money and time to fly their little, loud, noisy, uncomfortable planes in circles at 900 feet over people's homes day and night. All day and all night. Every day and every night. Does anybody believe that? Does it seem logical? Hey, I got a pilot's license, gee whiz, and all this money burning a hole in my pocket. And my plane is like to vibrate and it's fucking loud, right? And uncomfortable, because little planes are not comfortable. They're very uncomfortable. Oh, and there's the chemical trail. What kind of camera is this anyway? This is a Fuji EXR. Looks like it says 25 millimeter, 20 times zoom. Anyway, let's see how far away this guy is. Oh, I'm not in a zoomable mode, right? I guess not. Oh, wait, there we go. Okay. There he is. Trying to hold it still. Wow. Okay, this is 25 minutes or so straight that the little small airplanes have circled over this little area of Salmon Creek. Goddamn. Good. Hey, there's a flock of birds. They like to fly in circles nowadays. I was wondering the other day if that's why the birds have, when these birds die off, they find all these dead birds. I'm wondering if the harp frequencies are causing them to fly and fly and fly. It's like overriding their little bird brains so that they want to fly and fly and fly and fly until they just drop because they just can't stop. There they go. Up to the power line. Alright, anyway. Now I gotta go clean up the stuff. Planes wouldn't bother me so much, right? Just the annoyance factor if it weren't for the Morgellons factor. The, fibrous hairs that want to grow out of all over whenever one flies over. Actually, one of the best ways to see them is in the sun. It's kind of sunny right now. You've seen some of my videos where I'm like frying the stuff off. Well, I've fried them all off 20 times a day for the last couple of weeks, right? So there theoretically shouldn't be much of any hair on me anywhere. And when the stuff grows, it's like very gold looking. You get it at the right angle though. Let's see here. See the little dark patch? Right. Yeah, okay. Wherever it gets shiny and red, our new, you know, Morgellons fibers or whatever coming out. My forearms are a bad area. Look how normal they are right now, though. I don't even have gigantoveins. They're starting to form because there's a jet coming. I hear them. I can feel like a tension building through my joints too. You can feel it go from knuckles, wrist, elbow, shoulders, through your collarbone, down your spine. All of your bones begin to like there's a little how would you call it, like strands attached between them, as if they were, you know, your tendons were just being pulled tight for some reason. Tension that shouldn't be there. And that's already a documented effect of microwave exposure, is muscle tension. It will cause your heart to go faster. It will cause you to lose cognitive function. It will cause tension and pressure, physical pressure. And I've noticed that phenomenon on other things, not just felt it on myself. Oh, looky here. That jumbo McFlyover. I guess the blue skies are done for today. The last 2 days have been, yesterday was medium chemtrailed. The day before was just chemtrail nightmare. Wonder how close this will get to the plane. There's full zoom. And if you listen, off in the distance, there's Faggy McAirplane. This is one of the little planes that fucking flies over continuously. I wonder if this is the one that doesn't have call sign on it. I've seen it taking off. There's a white with a blue trim plane, like a Cessna or something. That's not the same one. It's not as loud, but there's the Cessna or whatever it is, a small plane. And as it was taking off, I looked at it on the tail end of the fuselage there, the tail section. It's got a rectangle where the call sign should be. And it was blue, it should have had white letters, right? The other one? Okay, yeah. And it was painted over all blue. So this plane was taken off from Pearson Airfield. Middle of the day, as I'm driving by, I'm watching it. I look up, it's got no call sign whatsoever. Isn't that against the law? Oh hey, you know, after the 25 minutes of circling the neighborhood, the little noisy planes are doing, the uncomfortable little noisy planes that never stop circling, because private pilots, they're obsessive. They just love to fly, and they're all multi-millionaires, so there's plenty of money to spend on fuel all day and all night, every day and night. And hey, why go to the mountains or go to the beach in your plane? You know, why take your private plane someplace to a destination when you can just fly in circles slowly over neighborhoods all day and night in your hometown? That sounds like a lot more fun. Because who wants to go to the beach or the mountains when you can fly in circles over your hometown in your little, not loud, noisy, uncomfortable plane? Pilots are so cool. Wow, they got the life of Riley, don't they? They just get to cruise around being cool and respected and well paid by people all over. Hey, and they get to fly their little planes all day and all night without stopping right over you. Wow, what? It just doesn't get any better. They're like angels. Look at this angel. He's leaving a trail of angel dust behind him. Angel dust. Nice. Nice, huh? I made up a new term. We'll call it angel dust. That's the angel of death, leaving angel dust. Morgellons. White hairs, fuzzies, they'll just float away when I'm getting zapped. I don't know if it's picking up, but it's a mile away, 3/4 of a mile away still. I'm doing loops over someone else's neighborhood right now. It'll be back. Whew. All right. Well, I gotta go clean up the rest of my crap over there. Get potassium iodide from Walmart or wherever in the first aid area for putting on wounds, you know, and drink a tablespoon per day, and get yourself a bunch of fresh water that's not tap water, and preferably well water, and drink that. Ooh, I got Morgellon's arm happening here. Check this out. See the black ones? Now they're black this time. I'll go from no hairs to having these fine black hairs, and I feel tension growing down my arm right now, in my bicep, and down the top of my arm, and lo and behold, I hear the jet. See the little dark patch, like right here? It's like the hollow of my arm. Ooh, they're starting to even stand up a little. Remember, I burnt all the hairs off of my arms 27 times a day for the last 2 weeks, right? And everywhere else for that matter. Silver shiny things? Probably. Should I wait for the jet and then finish the video? I mean, it never stops. That's the problem. That's why Morgellons is so effective for a control mechanism, because once you've got the population so filled with the toxin and the fungus that, and they don't even realize it, the fungus can just grow in you and you don't really have much of an issue until the frequencies interact with you, or if your body rejects the fungus, then you really have issues. What did NASA say in their leaked memo from 2001 about future weapons? It was, what the hell did they call it? Shit. Yeah, the plane's getting closer now. I'm really starting to lose my focus. What's going on with the arm hairs, right? Ooh. Anything? Anything? See the dark area? I haven't been wearing the copper for a while. A little peachy pink rash, a little lump on the back of my wrist, little white spots, speckles. This arm does it a lot. Look at the red starting to appear in the speckles. There's the plane. And this thing. And this bruised looking area right there, where it's pulsing. That used to be my whole wrist pulsed like that and was bruised looking. I've somehow managed to fight it back down to this. And yet there it is. There's no way that it's gone yet. You know, these videos where they say, Morgellons cure, I cured my Morgellons, yada, 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 they are full of shit. There's the red color I was talking about. And here's the plane approaching. Let's try and keep the light even, huh? We'll just see what happens. See the lump on the tendon right here? That's as if the stuff has grown through the muscle and the tendon and is welling up. That's why they consider it similar to Lyme disease, because Lyme disease, these little, the Lyme, whatever, parasites, they grow in the sheath layer above your tendon, below your skin, and then when they're fully formed, they sprout little hairs. For some reason, they grow these fine hairs that come out of your skin, and that's kind of the appearance of it. But you know, this is different. Here's the plane. He's slowly making his way here. There's some golds around my wrist and my thumb. This is really minor too, by the way, but I got the camera, I got the light, and the battery's charged. And see, the little golds are getting more and more. They'll just begin to get sparklier and sparklier and appear, and the black ones as well. There's some blacks right there starting to come in. The left arm has always been worse than the right, at least in some ways. There's the plane. Goldies. Those are the ones that sizzle too. You know, if I were to run a light across there, it would go whoosh, like you lit a fuse, and those hairs would sizzle away, but they'd come right back again. Fresh chemtrail plane. My hip joint is starting to hurt inside too. Oh, hear that? Here's one of the worst ones. These are the Alaska Air twin turboprops. Yeah, as if Alaska Air has flights going in all directions, and that these great big twin turboprop planes, you know, going to and from the airport need to do slow banking turns over a couple mile areas repeatedly. There's Faggy McAirplane. I'm gonna come fly my private plane around all day and night at low elevation over your house because it's so much fun. Why go anywhere when I can fly in circles over your house? Yeah, there's another round of planes coming for sure. I feel like static cling creeping up my pant leg. Seriously, that's one of the things that it feels like. It feels like static on your skin, under your clothes. Makes your shirt puff up and wrap around your arm when you're trying to get your sleeve, you know, arm down your sleeve. And it's directly related to how much of this shit's in your body, how strongly and quickly it's growing. Yeesh. Something white and fuzzy just floated by. Oh, the plane decided to bank to the right and he's coming this way. He just flew over here, and he flies over here, and he flies over there, and he flies over there, and he flies over there, and he flies over there. And he flies over here, and he flies over there, and he flies over there, and he flies back over here again. All day and all night. Every day and every night. Sometimes he flies at 300 feet, which is just like, you know, 3 times as tall as these trees, and swoops over the house. And that's happened to me everywhere I've lived in the last 5 years. Everywhere. And they're not in the same areas. They're all over town. It's happened to me everywhere I went. Every other town I went to, every place in the wilderness I went to, a little plane comes swooping in. It would almost make a, you know, somebody who was paranoid think that they were being followed in a huge, massive manner. We're all targeted though, really. You know, a computer can keep track of 350 million things at once, no problem. So it's sensors that you carry with you everywhere you go in your phones, and panels that are all over town, the scanners, the cell towers, the satellites, weather balloons, whatever they are, that they're everywhere floating around. They look like stars at night, but they move and they sparkle differently, duh. They track you everywhere. They know where everyone is at all times. The chemtrails create like a grid, a 3-dimensional grid, if you can picture it. And in between the cell towers is the energy streams that can be made to resonate anywhere in that grid. So energy can be directed through the air to a focal point at an individual person or at a large area on demand by a computer that is tracking you, listening to what you're saying, watching what you're doing, and deciding whether or not you should be targeted. It's not a person at a desk sitting there deciding, I'm going to target you. No, it's an AI computer that's going to decide by a set of criteria whether or not you should be targeted. There we go. 20 times zoom, faggoty fucking jet plane. I'm on my way to PDX, but hey, let's stop off and cruise slowly over Vancouver for a while, huh? That sounds like a lot of fun. Ladies and gentlemen, if you look out your window, you'll see the Portland, Vancouver area. We're going to fly around for 20 or 30 minutes over Vancouver real slowly and do some banking turns over residential neighborhoods before we land. You know, just normal flight procedures. It's a busy day at the airport. Hey, what's this over here? Oh my goodness. It's the plane that was just bringing back around. See, there's Jumbo Liner, fucking piece of shit. And here's the faggot plane. But wait, what's that to the west, Ron? It's another one. It's faggoty number 2. So here's number 1. Well, he's not number 1. They're both number 2, if you ask me. Pilots are pieces of shit. For number 2. Give them 2 fingers. What, Ron? What's that? You get a weird pain in your joints and your skin creeps and crawls every time an airplane flies over? Well, that's clearly mental. You have a psychological problem, see, where when you hear the airplane or subconsciously hear the airplane, you suddenly develop these psychological symptoms that manifest themselves and you believe it all to be real. But there's no connection between airplanes and people's health. That's impossible. Nothing bad could ever happen from an airplane unless they're dropping bombs on you or shooting at you with guns or beaming you with high-powered microwaves. Get it? Here comes little faggot plane. Oh, there he is. He decided to turn at the lake and come back to the east again because we're doing a sightseeing tour of Vancouver. That makes a lot of sense. That's what's going on. There's a lot of sightseeing in this area. Come watch the chemtrails be sprayed over Vancouver while you look at the fields that used to, you know, there's power lines here, so there's still fields. Everywhere else in this town, we have cut down the forests and used the timber to build houses on top of the fields where we used to grow food and raise livestock. Does that make any fucking sense? Cut down our forests, build houses on top of our fields, and then buy food from other countries. Anybody ever heard of being independent? Like, you know, when one group of central authority has the control over all of your water, all of your food, all of your air, and all of your options as to what you can and can't do with your life, you're no longer free. They can give you all the guns you want. They don't give a fuck about guns. Nobody's going to fight the government. You're a bunch of chicken shits in the militia. You've got no fucking balls. You wouldn't stand up for Oklahoma City. You wouldn't stand up at Ruby Ridge. You wouldn't stand up at Waco. You wouldn't stand up at 9/11. You wouldn't stand up for none of it. You won't stand up for the chemtrails. You're gonna die of COPD with a house full of guns, you stupid motherfuckers. But you won't stand up to the government when they get tyrannical, will ya? You'd like to think you would, but you won't. You'll just deny that that's the tyranny, and we'll all get fucked, and you will have done nothing but expected to be respected by people for having guns and acting tough. You're a bunch of wannabes. You know who's tough? Fucking, you know who's tough? People who've got nothing to gain by saying what they're saying. They're being targeted, you know, in real time by, you know, more specific targeting. And, you know, they fully know they're not gonna win, you know. Unless I have some spiritual mind awakening where I become one with the universe and I realize that all of the external world is actually a creation within my mind and find a way to access it and that I can be God in a sense and change the way all this is happening, then it's not going to happen most likely. Because people won't get together. They're selfish chicken shit fuckwads. You can pay them to fly airplanes around and microwave people all day long. Most likely the guy in the plane is too stupid to even know what he's doing. He's just doing his job, which is to fly this little faggot plane in circles over you continuously, right? Because you could never have too many airplanes fly over in one day. I mean, you know, that goes without saying. Everybody needs an airplane. Did you know in some poor countries, they don't have airplanes to fly over them at all times? And they have to breathe air, just plain old air. Those poor bastards. Luckily, here in America, we had the foresight to spray aluminum oxide, barium, and strontium into our atmosphere. And my battery's gonna die, so I gotta go clean up my crap while I get microwaved and sprayed. But hey, so do you, so it's all fair, right? Who cares what happens to everybody as long as it's happening to everybody? I don't gotta stand for anything. I'll just bend over and fucking take it. I'll buy some guns and shoot fireworks on the 4th of July and everything will be okay. Yay for America!